So why you should not build your dream house in the Philippines? The answer is very simple. Because at some point you will regret it. Why will you regret it? That's what we will discuss today. I'll give you several reasons why, and I will also put up a scenario when you could build one so that you have fewer regrets if you do so. This is in response to several videos that I saw recently talking about building their dream house in the Philippines. I'll start by saying that I'm a healthcare provider and I've been in the field for over 25 years, working in primary care settings as well as urgent care and emergency medicine. I also love to travel and I'm married to Filipina, and I've been traveling around Philippines and all around Asia in the past 6 years. So the first thing I will tell you is that you should not take your current health for granted. If you are thinking about building a house in the Philippines, you are probably someone close to or most likely already in retirement age. And I suppose you are also quite healthy. If that is not the case, there's even more reasons why you should listen carefully to what I have to say. Your and my health is a very fluid concept. I have seen perfectly healthy folks coming to our ER with sudden chest pain, stroke, major infections, or even symptoms that eventually turn out to be tumors or cancers. Now that is obviously the worst scenario, but you get the idea. I'm not saying that the healthcare in the Philippines is bad. Not at all, and they do the best they can with what they have. The difference is the expectations. Now if you are a Filipino who grew up in the Philippines, you know what level of care you can expect when you go to their local hospital. But if you are someone coming from America or another country used to advanced healthcare, it will be a real shock to the system that unfortunately may have outcomes that you may not be ready for. Now that is not to say that you cannot get top-notch medical care in the Philippines or anywhere else in Asia. Yes, you can, but you better have lots of spare cash because that's what you will need to get it. Forget about paying for it with your insurance. In Asia, cash is the king. And if you did not realize that yet, you will when the time comes. But even if you do have the cash, it will be useless if your house stands in the middle of nowhere and it takes several hours to get to the closest major hospital. I say major hospital, but ideally, you want to have access to a private hospital in the Philippines, because there is usually a huge difference in the level of care you get from a government-run hospital and privately run hospital. The level is so significant that many Filipinos will avoid going to their local hospital and rather borrow money and travel hours to get to the private hospital if they are very sick. That brings me to my second point. There are so many beautiful islands and lots for sale in the Philippines with their breathtaking views. I mean, who would not want to wake up in the morning with a view of palm trees, turquoise blue ocean, and white sand beach? Unfortunately, there is a reason why these places are so pristine and beautiful. In many cases, it is because there is nothing else around. I've seen so many beautiful houses and mansions with amazing pools and well-maintained property literally in the middle of coconut forest or rice fields with absolutely nothing miles away when they show the aerial view of the property. Sounds great, right? Well, I will use a metaphor to give you an idea why I don't think so. Now, everybody heard about the rose glasses that we all wear when we are getting into a new relationship, and the fact that many of these relationships fail when these glasses finally disappear and we start seeing the person the way they are. That's when we start evaluating if we can spend the rest of our life together with that person. Well, that's exactly what happens after you finish with your new dream house and spend few months there. At some point, you will get bored of looking at the same palm trees and your swimming pool. And then what? Go for a walk to town? Go to a restaurant or other places to socialize? Remember, you're in the middle of nowhere with the closest small town miles away. So think about this before you settle for a lot with a beautiful view and nothing around but beach, palm trees, and rice fields. It will get you only that far. So you say, but I will not stay in my house all the time. I'll go traveling. Great. So now you need to add that to your budget as well. But more importantly, you will need to find someone who will be regularly airing out your house and keeping an eye on it. What most people never think about is the humidity in the Philippines and Asia in general. What I mean by that is that the high humidity leads to mold. At some point, whether you like it or not, mold will settle down in your house regardless of what you do. But it will be a lot worse if you are not airing your house daily and don't have your air conditioner running at least few hours every day. This will be a disaster, particularly for those who have a history of asthma, which mold makes a lot more difficult to manage. When we travel around Asia, we usually stay in nice 4 or 5-star resorts because the amenities are just amazing. But I can't tell you how many times we walked into the room in one of these beautiful resorts and felt like we got hit with a wet blanket. The smell of the mold and stuffiness in those rooms was so intense that I can't even describe it. So keep that in mind. Another issue is the cost of upkeep. Now you can definitely build a beautiful dream house in the Philippines for a fraction of what it would cost you in the US or other developed country. But what many people don't realize is that this initial bargain will turn into black hole. If you are lucky, your house will not need much maintenance initially. That is, if you use a good contractor who uses quality material. But even with that, at some point you will need to start putting money into maintenance. Now, I'm not talking about a simple maintenance that needs to be done on every house. I'm talking about the repairs after hurricanes, typhoons, and heavy rains. Remember, the Philippines is very prone to all of these. If you are building your house close to the shore, the salt will also start eating your house. Your pool pumps may break, and so on. All I'm saying is that the more expensive and the bigger your house is, the more expense you'll be acquiring. And forget about any insurance on your house. We have not found any insurance that would give decent coverage on a house over 5 to 6 million pesos. And even if you did find one, good luck getting any money from them when you need it. They are really good at taking your money, but absolutely useless in fulfilling their part of the bargain. So what I'm saying is that you should absolutely avoid building a big dream house in the Philippines unless, for one, you have a great location close to a large private hospital. 2, building such a house will represent only a small fraction of your overall wealth. And 3, you are ready to keep spending substantial amount of money on upkeep and traveling to other places to avoid social isolation. Now in my next video, I will discuss what is, in our opinion, a much better way of building your dream house in the Philippines and what we decided to do. So stay tuned.